And again, today we're going to start about values and vision. Okay, this is one of my favorite part, probably the hardest to do over link of all of these meetings. I do have a presentation up that we are recording already, and this is taken from the 2014 Area Manager Summit. The tagline was, "It's not about you, it's about whatever it was." This presentation should be redundant for most of you, but it's something that we're going to go over to set the basis, and I'll try and be fast on the redundant part. Okay, why do $3 million companies fail? Because they make it about you. When you go and you Google any $3 million company or less, you can find the area, the manager, the owner's personal cell phone number on their website. It's all about them. They have so much bandwidth on customer interaction that they can't get past it. Okay, it really just doesn't work. They don't empower others to be successful. And you can go through this model with plumbers or any service-oriented business. It's the same model. Okay, getting from $3 to $5 million is about standardization. It's about standardizing what we do and how we do it, setting the standard for what the expectations are for quality, and making sure that we get them done. Okay, it's very hard to go from $3 to $5 million in revenue, and the reason is because you have to act like a $5 million company to get past $3 million, and you can't pay for it. You don't really have enough resources, money, manpower, things that you need in place at that point. We are in this magic gap between $3 and $5 million. 85% of all companies fail in this gap. Simply by understanding what this gap means and what it takes to get past this gap means that we will probably get past it. We have a great plan to get past it, and we will be successful. As Brent and his buddies always say, failure's not an option. Right, Brent?
That is correct. Sorry, it's not as dramatic when I have to pause there, but yes.
Is that yearly revenue, like 3 million? What does that mean?
That's yearly revenue, gross sales, yearly revenue. Okay. Then going from $3 to $5 million, you have to go from specialist to generalist. I'm sorry, from generalist to specialist. Said that backwards. When you're under $3 million, your HR person also has to go work in the field. Your HR person does payroll and hiring and recruiting and benefits and you get pulled in so many different directions. The profile from a PI standpoint on a generalist and a specialist are very different. The profile for a specialist is A over D, and a generalist is D over. I'm sorry, a specialist is D over A. A generalist is A over D. We'll get into this next week as we talk about PI. But they're very different people. So it's oftentimes frustrating when we're in the gap between $3 and $5 million as an organization for people to understand where they fit in as we go from generalist to specialist. Some people are able to still be a generalist in their job, others are not. Sometimes it causes a lot of frustration. It's gotten over by continuously developing job descriptions and reviewing PIs and continual discussion with your direct report on what's working and what's not working, so that the frustration for each individual is mitigated. This is a dramatic change when you go from generalist to specialist. It's probably one of the hardest phases for an organization to go through, and that's one of the reasons for failure. Getting from 5 to 10 million is rather easy, and I know that sounds crazy that $2 million worth of growth is hard and $5 million worth of growth is easy. It's true. Okay, companies really don't have the depth that we do at $3 to $5 million. It's not. It's unheard of for us to have the depth of management and the depth of experience. And the reason why it's possible for us is because we sell manpower. So you are our product. So I can pay for you as an individual coming into this because of your billable hours. You're producing money. It gives us the opportunity to have more people, more specialties, and more experience earlier in this transition than most companies of our size. It is also why people have billable goals. But getting from $5 to $10 million is rather easy, and the reason being, all you do is add depth. You already have specialists in payroll, in HR, in benefits, in finance, in IT, in legal, in operations. You have specialists everywhere. You're starting to develop product specialists. You really have all these things in a place. All you do is tell them all that they can go hire somebody junior to start training, to start taking over what you're doing. And then you double the revenue, but you don't double the expenses. Now we have the money to do the development we need. That $5 to $10 million gap will happen overnight in this company. It will be so fast and so unbelievable, people will just blink and we're there. It is that easy. There's a reason why when you go out and you survey the type of companies that exist, there are very, very few companies that ever exist in the gap between $5 to $10 million. Because the companies that are successful at 5 will be successful at 10, and they will not stay at either very long. They will take off. This is truly the growth curve of an organization. Again, you have less than a 3% chance of making this gap. We will make this gap. Just understanding that there's a gap and how to overcome it and understanding what the methodology is the most important thing. We have a plan to go from 3 to 5. We have a plan to go from 5 to 10. And we will be successful at those plans. Own your own business unit. Take ownership in what you're doing. Think of corporate as support, not as a cumbersome oversight. Think of executives as coaches. Think of responsibility versus accountability, right? Take responsibility for it, and we will move into an accountability model as a coaching method. Okay? Dick Gaday's cardinal rules of business, number 21, is have fun while you're doing it, or find someone else to do it. We are in that size where you can do this. We frequently go into businesses. It says kick Gaday. That was what was distracting me. I had a typo in my own presentation. But Dick Gaday is a guy that you'll hear about throughout this hour. But he's a pretty incredible business leader. Okay, and we are at this point, and we do this with a lot of areas where we give you a marker and we say, everybody in the area, put up what you do on the whiteboard. Circle the things that you love to do and cross out the things you hate to do. And when you cross out those things that you hate to do, we start finding other ways or other people to do them, so that you don't have to do the things you don't like to. Unfortunately, it is a matter of you have to do them until we have a design or a plan so that you don't have to. But it doesn't take us long. It's through these meetings, these one-on-one meetings with your manager, your staff, that we get the things that people don't like to do away from them, or we find somebody who likes to do them for you. To talk to clients or not to talk to clients. Setting the expectations. One of the things about getting between $3 and $5 million is understanding that I cannot talk to clients. I'm not above talking to a client, but I'd rather empower you guys to talk to a client. When we get into these client relations areas, yes, I can come in and I can help, but the less I do that, the more time I have to focus on the development aspects. Even Brent shouldn't really be interacting with clients. We should always be in the constant pursuit of working ourselves out of a job. When we get into that pursuit, it frees us up to do what we like to do, and we're more efficient at it. I cannot talk to clients because we have 115 active client sites a year. It's not possible for me to talk to them all. And when I do, I don't give them the attention that they deserve. That's why we regionalize and localize by geographic locations who interacts with the client, so that they can give them the attention that they deserve on a regular basis. Be the first to tell our clients about our mistakes. Corey, if you're with me, would you like to tell us a story about this?
Yeah, I've had a couple of doozies, but one happened last winter. I'll make it really fast. The guy was on shift and he found a girl, and then they started drinking wine, and then they took the hotel key because he was on shift. He had keys to the Aspen Alps. He entered a room that was vacant, and then he just stayed in there for 2 hours and did you know what? Kept drinking. Best Connections called me. They couldn't find him. We were missing response calls. I called the cops. I had the cops finally track him down. He was still in the building, hammered.
We called the cops because we were concerned about his safety.
Exactly.
We had an overnight person working by himself that's gone missing.
Yep. And that's why we called the cops. And long story short, I met the GM the next morning at 9:01, and it was not an easy conversation, but it's better that we tell them. I mean, I actually could have hid it because me and the overnight manager, the on-call person for the Alps, were pretty tight, and I could have hid it from the GM, but that wasn't the thing to do. So I went and had that awkward conversation, and the GM understood. He wasn't mad. He was actually what Todd is saying. He was glad that we came and admitted it, because it wasn't like a company error. It was a human error. And now that GM is re-signed, and we're just as tight as can be. So it's better if you just admit it, even though it's difficult.
Okay. Availability. Make sure that you're there to talk to clients. Write it down. Every conversation you have with a client also is a follow-up email. Everything you do is in writing. That way you can reference it. And conversations are often misunderstood, but a conversation with an email confirming it can't be misunderstood. You've told them in two different formats, and if they have a problem, they can hit reply and say, this isn't what we talked about. Write it down. It shows professionalism. Dick G'day. Kick a Dick G'day. Look at that. This is his new name, apparently. Number 2, concentrate on customer needs or wants, not what we as the business need or want. We have to talk to our customer to know what they want. Kick a day. Number 1, product is king. Never compromise quality for cost or price. We are often the highest cost provider that anyone receives a bid from. And there's a reason why we still get all the business. Quality control is a big deal. We started losing sight of our product recently. So we named Nathan, one of the most senior person in our company, in charge of product. That's all he does, is go around to ensure quality is in place. Plan your fight, fight your plan. Game plan through time blocking, task listing. Develop a routine. Routines are very important. Protect yourself. Schedule personal time. Yes, there are times where we overlap on your personal time. Schedule another personal time to make sure you take care of yourself. Why do firefighters walk to a scene? Courtney?
Because it's their emergency, not ours.
It's just us going to work every day. We're not in an emergency. We're working. And when they run their butt off to the crime scene or to the scene, they're too fatigued to help. Take care of yourself. I cannot tell you how important this is. We don't watch your schedule. We don't know which direction you're being pulled. And you have to look after yourself. Even if you're going to make a sacrifice for us, the company, you have to protect your time off. You have to schedule R&R for yourself. And if that's not going to happen, talk to your manager and supervisor and ask them how to do it. Trust me, they're probably bad at it too. You can probably teach them something. But it's something that we must do as an organization. Kick a day. I love this one. Your to-do list. First thing first, second thing, never. You're never going to get to your to-do list. So pick one thing and get it done. It's unbelievable to think week after week after week you'll never get your to-do list done. And it just doesn't happen. Molly thinks she does. She doesn't get it done. Pick one thing.
Until January, you won't get it.
Don't get it all done. Just pick one thing and do it with excellence. Then move on to the next thing. Because it's first thing first, second thing never. So just focus on the first thing. Keep those lists for where you're going in the future. But remember, you're only going to get one done at a time, so get it done before you move on.
So Todd, if I may, the way I took this when you told this to me was your number one is number one. When you're done with your number one, your number two becomes number one.
Yep.
So you're always working on your number one.
Yep. Fix your plan. Admit your mistakes. Kick.
Are you sure that's not his name?
Oh, it's not
His
his
name's Dick.
It's Dick,
Wait a minute. This is at least the third time I've taught this
it's
class. Somebody screwed with me. Somebody put kick in here. I just promise you it hasn't been kick this entire time.
Change all.
All right. Admit your mistakes. One of the greatest things I ever learned in entrepreneurial MBA business school was don't be afraid to throw it away and start over. The second time you build it, the third time you build it, the fourth time you build it, it's so much better, faster, and better than you could ever dream of. Don't be afraid to throw it away and start over. Everyone in this company who has worked with me for a while knows an example of this. I tried to throw away Valiant last month. I did. 4 or 5 months into the project, I went into Candy. I said, this isn't working. Let's just throw it away and start over. And I gave her 3 or 4 more options of how to do it. Now, here's the deal. She wasn't scared to throw it away and start over. She threw it away for a couple of days and started exploring these other options. Ultimately came back to it and said, nope, this is the way we need to go. Great. Good for her. She wasn't scared to throw it away and start over. She realized that we're still moving in the right direction.
You know, from the operational side, we did this on schedules, right? The hospitality schedule. How did we come up with that? You know, how did we determine that 232 hours just wasn't quite enough? We knew that we actually need 4 more hours in a week at a minimum to do everything that we did. And then we were able to go into a client and say, we've gone through the schedule 30 different ways, and this is what we've come up with. So it worked as far as that's concerned as well.
Yep. Agree upon the objectives and strategy before fixing the plan. About right now is better than exactly right later. Think about this for a second. About right now is better than exactly right later. Sometimes it's about just getting it done. We inherently hire low patience people. I can name the high patience people that drive me crazy sometimes, but I love them. But there's not many of them. We are a low patience business because we need to get it done now. We can rebuild it again. We'll throw it away and start over. That's fine. But you have to have something to throw away. So get it done. Even if there's a question mark behind it. We can come back and fix it later. And when we rebuild it again, it'll be better. Take wisdom over raw intelligence anytime.
How do you distinguish what's wisdom, what's wise?
Don't give me theology, Molly Moody. Wisdom over raw intelligence.
Speaker.
I was really asking.
I think the intelligent person will come in and start spouting off things like I do all the time, and the wise person will be in the corner and have that one nugget of wisdom, one knowledge piece, and it's profound. In all of our hiring examples, I use all the time this example. We have a 15-year DEA agent, retired in good standing, and a fresh out of school college kid with good grades that has never had a job before. And they're going to work together for a shift. Who do you put in charge? Who's the shift leader? They're not a supervisor. The salaries can be the same, okay? But who's in charge for that day?
The old wise guy.
I'm going to put the college kid in charge. The paperwork will probably be done better. He's excited. The old wise guy doesn't necessarily want to be the leader. He's looking for something different out of this. If he was, he'd still be in the DEA. Or he'd come to me and want a management job. You allow the old wise guy to be a mentor. Mentors do not have to lead from the front. Talk to him about his role as a mentor. And when the crap hits the fan, don't you think he's still going to take care of business? No matter who's in charge? You're damn right. 15 years and in good standing, he's got to know the right way to do things. Who's really in charge there? No matter what I say, the old wise guy's really in charge there. That's wisdom. Hire first. I'm trying to rush through this if you haven't noticed. There's a lot I want to cover today. Hire first. Start with hiring. Okay? When you go into sales, what happens? You sell someone you don't have? If you don't have product ready to sell, how are you going to sell? You start with hiring first so that you have product to sell. So when you're in that sales meeting, you can talk about Tim Trent. Let me tell you about Tim Trent. He's an amazing guy. I'm going to provide him 2 nights a week. And if Tim doesn't work out, we'll get you somebody different. Just like Tim or somebody with, we'll learn from our mistakes. But we have someone ready and available for you. I'm not going to take an order for an event and then go find all the people. We're going to have some of those people or all those people in advance so that we are ready. It's preparation meets opportunity. The definition of luck, right, Corey?
That's it.
We're going to prepare by hiring and training and building our product so that when we have the opportunity to sell, we're ready. You have to do a hire session with me before you go doing one alone. Always hire at least 20% part-time staff on any fixed contract and develop a routine so that you're constantly hiring. Set your goals. Rate everyone. Everyone gets a rating, 0 through 5. We've been over this rating 100 times. Rate them all. Why? It's our way of communicating. It's our way of scheduling. It's our way of setting expectations. It's a way of knowing which product we're selling. It's a way of telling people how to get to the next level. Empowering them to be successful. Fire the idiots. Bob Bannerak says, there are 4 types of people: leaders, followers, objectors, and mutterers. We need leaders. We can't all be followers. We can't all be leaders. We need both. We need those who lead and those who follow. Sometimes leaders need to follow. I'm sure it's bugging the crap out of Brent to not be teaching this class today.
We're laughing in the background.
Then you have objectors. Objectors are good because they come to you and they say, I don't believe in your plan because of this. And you have the opportunity to fix your plan. Throw it all over and start all over again. Or tell that objector why he's wrong, or tell him he needs to fall in line and move forward. It's the people who don't object to your face that is a problem. Those that say, oh yeah, whatever, I'll do whatever I want. Those are mutterers. Did you even hear what I just said? It's the people that say, oh yeah, dude, I'll take out the trash every night. No problem. I got your back. See you later. And then, don't take out the trash in Unit 2, and next thing you know, you're full of mice. They never intended to do that to begin with. They're muttering. Mutterers need to find their way out the door fast. Fire them. I don't care what HR says. I don't care what anyone else says. Find a way to terminate them and get them gone. Work inside their boundaries. Work inside all of the, the process of coaching, discipline, whatever, but get them out. Be proactive. If they're mutterers, fire them. Please. They're nothing but cancerous within our organization. Good to Great. It's a wonderful book that they talk about seats on the bus. Okay? Not only do we try and find the right people, but then putting them in the right roles. This is often the hard part for us because we're going from generalists to specialists. Oftentimes we have the right people in the wrong roles. Guess what? They're not going to be successful. They're not going to feel successful. It isn't a well-oiled machine if we have the right people in the wrong roles. We can have some incredible people, and we need to be proactive about getting them in the right roles, or it doesn't work. It creates friction. It creates all kinds of issues. We desperately need to make sure that we are proactively putting people in the wrong roles, and the right roles. If we have the right person in the wrong role, tell them, I love you. You're the right person. You're in the wrong role. That's why we're having this issue. Help them to understand. Don't make it into some big, you need to change yourself as a person conversation, because those don't work. Just tell them, you're the right person, but I got you in the wrong role. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. It's going to be a while. Show them the light. Tell them what's wrong. Be direct with them. It's what they're lacking. They're frustrated. They don't understand that they're in the wrong role. You can see it. They can't. Sometimes it's easier just to say, you're an incredible person. I've got you in the wrong role. Help me work through it. We are not a church. This one's hard for me. I love people. I love developing people. I love making sure that those people are successful. But this isn't a mission. It is our duty to make money and then donate to missions. Or support them in other means. But this is not our mission. This is not our house. This is work. We can love what we do. We can absolutely adore what we do. But it doesn't have to be a mission. My mission is schools for the children of the world, not Lone Star. Kick today. Don't live with mistakes, especially people. Just because you hired them, they might be the right person in the wrong role. Don't live with it. Change it. It's show business, not... Hang on, I gotta read this. It's show business, not show friends.
One of the best quotes from Jerry Maguire. It really is.
There you go. I like it. Build your bus. Kick a day says, I can't believe it. Kick a day says, try to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. Invest your time with winners, not losers. I think it's pretty safe to say that I've invested myself with people who can spell better than kick a day. Okay? We have an incredible team. And trust me, some of our team intimidates me. Don't tell them. But it's true. Some of our team, I think, is smarter than me and can do this job better than me. And that's a good thing. That means I'm not letting my insecurities run our business. Thanks, Brent. He says we think so too.
We had to throw it out there, man.
PI, getting the right people in the right seats. Predictive index will definitely help you get the right people in the right seats. We're not doing that yet. That's in a couple weeks. I don't think we're going to have time to get that today. There are 2 people left that have not done PIs and desperately need to. Those people have gotten links in their inbox within the last couple of days here, so make sure you get it done. Develop servant leadership, team building, delegation. How many times have I told our managers this? Okay? When I tell you to do something, I don't care if you do it or your team does it. I just want it done. But when it's not done, I'm holding you accountable. Delegation is empowering others. It's working yourself out of a job. This is at least the 5th time I've said this today already. Work yourself out of a job through delegation. When your team does it better than you because they're smarter than you, come to me and we'll do something different with you. Because you have been successful financially and in your job, and let's go do something together. And this time, we can build it better because we're doing it again. This time, we can do it with just the things you like because we have the opportunity to do it again. I cannot tell you how many things have happened because the managers come to me and said, okay, I'm done. What are you talking about? You're done. Have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? Oh yeah, I've done all that. Wow. Great. What do we want to do? Let's find a new job for you. You can still have those roles and responsibility because you've worked yourself out of a job already. You can still manage that stuff, and let's give you something new. It's so much fun. Meetings and schedules we've talked about. Kick a day, number 6, give authority equal to responsibility. If your authority or if your responsibility is to manage a project, your responsibility should be to choose your team. And it is. Authority and responsibility go hand in hand with us. Be honest with your employees and the business world. This is one that's hard for me because I want to make you feel warm and fuzzy after our meeting. It's hard for me to give you those blows like you need. You need the honesty, the brutal honesty. When we do surveys of employees through this 360 peer review, it's very apparent those who get honest feedback and those that don't. Your job is to empower and motivate your team, but it's also to be honest with them on where they're missing the mark or how that's going or what they can do to improve. Honesty can be good because you're talking about the good things they're doing also. But it's not always good. And it's okay to tell them, hey, you sucked at this today. How are we going to do it better next time? That's perfectly acceptable. And it should be with a coaching form. Okay. Remember, people are generally capable of more than what you think they are, and almost always more than what they think they are. Think about that. People are almost always more capable than what you think they are. And they're always more capable than what they think they are. People need pushing. People need challenges. Oftentimes, people won't be able to see what they're capable of until you start going. Give them baby steps. Hey, today I want you to do this. Hey, tomorrow I want you to do this. Hey, today I want you to do this. Hey, tomorrow I want you to do this. Hey, did you realize what you just did? Look back. Sometimes you can give them a plan that they will just be overwhelmed with. Break it down into small steps, critical path, right? Give them little steps to accomplish the big goal, and they will do it. It's amazing. Some parts of it they get stuck on, and you have to help them get through it, but they can do it. Courtney Garcia, I'll call you out. With me? Courtney? Hello? Okay, I'll go down the line. Ryan Witt, you with me? Nobody's with me. All right, I'm moving on then. Gain person's trust and ask them the first 3 things you'd fix. Ryan, you are there. You're on mute.
And you're really close to your camera, Ryan. Just so you know.
All right, guys.
All right, so here's my question for you today, Ryan.
What's up, Todd?
Have you been doing more in the first 60 days here at work than you thought you were capable of so far?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. I'm taking on a lot and doing my best to do it well.
You're knocking it out of the park.
I appreciate it.
You know, it's one of those things where it says, you know, we're probably doing more with you than your boss thought we could at your old job. And we're certainly probably doing more with you than you thought you could.
It's
But
true.
trust me, we're just getting started.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Courtney Garcia has come a long way. She's probably doing a lot more than she thought she could, writing LOGs and managing contracts. And she's doing it because Matt's doing a great job of bringing her along. And she's capable of a whole lot more. Kayla's definitely capable of a lot more than anyone thought she could. She's pretty young. She started as a gate guard attendant. A lot of people had questions about whether or not she could in so many things she's already doing, and Brent knew she could, and Brent pushed her. And trust me, guys, this is the crowd. This is the team that I'm always get most excited about. Yeah, managers are great. Don't tell them I said this, but who cares? It's the supervisors that grow so fast in this company. It's the supervisors that grasp this stuff and become managers so quickly because they're able to grasp this stuff. It's the learning curve on that first year is so big. Courtney says, sorry, she's having some trouble here. So when you get them, ask them, what are the first 3 things you'd fix? Learn from them. All right, replace yourself. Kick Good Day says, give authority equal to responsibility. Oh, we already went through a bunch of this. So can't micromanage people. That's the piece that find sleepers and motivate and empower them. People who feel like they've been pigeonholed or that they don't have the authority. See, the thing about high authoritarian leadership style is that people who have high authority don't take it for themselves often enough. They have to be told that they can be the leader in this situation. Now, if their authority line is as high as Brent's, then forget it, they'll take it. But, you know, most people who have high authority, they're waiting to be told that they can. They're just waiting to be told that they can. That's an important piece. Tell them they can. Motivate them. Steel and velvet. When you actually talk to Dick G'day, not Kick G'day, he tells you about steel and velvet in every single conversation. It drives me crazy. But he's got something right. Motivating people through compensation, recognition, feedback, and freedom to do their own thing. Development of people is everyone's responsibility. Don't confuse brightness with judgment. Beware of making successful tasks achievers into managers. That one's hard for us. When they're successful at task achieving, we think they'd be good as managers a lot. That's not always the case. Work smarter and harder, not necessarily longer. Okay, let me go back through steel and velvet. Okay, the idea is you have to tell people the harsh truth, and you have to be hard as steel. You can wrap that steel in velvet when you deliver the blow, but you're still delivering the blow. That's steel and velvet. Sometimes there's times where you need to be velvet. There's other times where you need to be steel. But when you wrap the steel in the velvet and still hit them, that's the best case scenario. Empower people. Work. Develop a routine. Protect yourself. Confirm in writing. Meetings. Meetings are one-on-one every week. Town halls and team meetings. Town halls are once or twice a year. Team meetings are no less than once a month. Okay? You have to have your teams together to discuss best practices and get to know each other personally. Your one-on-ones, you have direct reports. They deserve an hour of your week every week. Every single week. And if you have too many direct reports, you haven't built your org chart right. Team meetings, town halls, one-on-ones. Effective meetings. Schedule your meetings in advance. Be respectful of people's time and calendars. Set your time in advance. Give them an agenda. My favorite was when I was working for Young Life. I had this 6'7" dark-haired guy who was chiseled, who was my manager, and he'd come in and he'd be like, "We need to talk." And I'd be like, "What did I do?" Trust me, in this company, everything seems like that. When you're talking to the people underneath you and you just say, "We need to talk," it doesn't work out. But when you tell them, "We need to talk about a fence line and how it works, come and see me later," they go, "Okay, great, I'm talking about the fence line." It's a totally different type of leadership. It works this way with agendas too. You have to give people warning about what you're talking to them about. You can't just be like, "We need to talk," because it never works out. Those people are frightened when they're coming in to see you, whether they are tough guys and pretend like they're not or not, but they're nervous about it. When you give them the agenda, they know what they're talking about, even if it's bad. Give them time to prepare. Give them the opportunity. Be professional. This is us modeling how we want our people to interact with our clients also. Be respectful and attentive. Get off the phone. You don't see me answering phone calls in the middle of meetings. It's rare. I really don't get distracted anymore in meetings like I did 2 years ago. It's different. I'm moving into this also. Clients are calling. I have to answer it. No, you don't. Clients don't expect you to sit by the phone and answer on the first ring.
Plus it's climax.
They just want you to get back to them in a timely manner, which you can do at the end of this hour-long meeting. That's fine. There's one thing that Brent has done to our company since being COO that's great. He's giving us 15 minutes in between every meeting to get caught up. I love it. That's my time to call that person back.
Yep, that's part of exactly what it's for.
So I can be attentive for these 45 minutes of this meeting, or this hour of this meeting, or these 3 hours. I don't care if you scheduled it for 3 hours and you didn't block a time for breaking in there, then it's your fault. Be attentive. Be respectful, and you will be respected back. Brainstorm. Here's one that should be harsh. Your meetings should be enticing. They should be as enticing as the latest box office thriller release. Dun dun dun. If your meeting is boring, write a memo, not a meeting. Create debate. Brainstorm. If you're not learning something from this meeting, I've got a serious problem. For those of you who are listening to this for the 8th or 9th or 10th or 15th times, Rondell, is there something you're taking away from this? Is there something that's a good reminder for you?
It's all a good reminder.
Is there something engaging about it?
For me, it's to see if anything has changed, if we're adding or changing things that we've done in the past, and to know what the supervisors in the company are being trained on so I can hold them to the same standards.
Good answer.
Don't tell me I
who's-
didn't have to be here.
Yeah, Ron doesn't have to be here. He chose to be here. Here is the real hard part. If your meetings are not as enticing, as thrilling as the latest box office thriller movie, you're not doing them right. They should be faster paced. Did you know that people can actually comprehend faster speaking than slow speaking much better with better retention rates? Nathan could see Aaron, he could quote all kinds of quotes about this, but the fact of the matter is that if you talk quickly, actually people will retain it better.
That means Kenny should be teaching.
Have some fun and enjoy your meetings, or cancel them. Go to a memo. No, Candy left.
I tell her all
She
the
won't
time.
watch this. All right. Call to action. Okay, there should be action in your meetings. There should be a punch list. This isn't a meeting, by the way. This is a training. Don't confuse the two. This is training. Okay, your meetings should have call to action, and it should say so and so is going to do this. Okay, and it calls out a specific person to take control of that task. Take notes and email them out. How many touches does it take to retain something? 7. 1 touch is sending them the agenda. 2 touch is discussing it. 3rd touch is sending them notes. 4th touch is them reading the notes later, or watching the video again, or doing something else, right? It's 3 touches in one meeting. By setting the agenda, doing the meeting, and then doing the follow-up notes. You can take notes during the meeting. I do. The notes don't have to be perfect. Okay? Dick Gaday's rule of better now than perfect later. All right. Schedule your next meeting before you leave. This is the one everyone fails. Okay? This is the 5 Ds, the debrief. Everyone misses that part, right? Everyone misses this part too. Schedule your next meeting before you leave. So it's on your notes, so it's in your agenda, so that you have it ready. Because otherwise, you won't do it. You might do it once, but it's not on time. You might do it twice, but eventually, it's gone. Let me tell you, I did that today with Sean Palmer. Sean Palmer is our marketer who's been coming in. Sean walked in at 9 o'clock this morning. Jessica and I both didn't have him on our agendas because we didn't schedule our next meeting with him before we left the last. And Sean made the assumption that we were going to meet with him and walked in. Uh-oh. It's pretty simple. Very rarely happens to me these days, but I also have 37 standard meetings a week now. It's kind of old. And trust me, if we don't schedule the next one, I am not going to meet with you for a couple weeks. Because I forgot. It's the reason why I spend so much time on this. Game Storming is a book, okay? It's a great book. It helps you understand how to brainstorm things better. Here's a great, I actually took this picture in the Vail Resorts corporate offices once. Trust me, this wasn't the old school Vail Resorts corporate offices. This is the new mentality. Write it down. Everything. Use paper only to communicate only when it represents faster and most effective means of communication to record already agreed upon objectives. Okay? Write it all down. Write as you're talking. That's fine. Okay. That's an ops plan we did. I'm going to open this up. I know I just covered a crap ton of information, but it has also been exactly 1 hour, and I only got one item done. So, that's okay. What questions do you have? Statements. Okay? Then we're going to do it this way. What is the number one takeaway for today? What is the one thing you thought was the most enticing thing you heard today? Trevor, you took yourself off mute. Does that mean you want to talk?
Yeah, I was going to make my comment. For me, it was really about those meetings at the end and planning your follow-up. One thing that Matt has really tried to hammer into me when I first started doing events is always set my after-action plan meeting with the client before the event is over. And I need to start doing that with my supervisory people. I have a tendency to say, I need to talk to you and not give any information. I really need to work on my communication with the meetings of my own employees, and that sounds a lot like what we covered.
Okay, so let's say that you have an after-action plan with a client or your team or both, and let's say that nothing went wrong. And the client says, hey, everything was perfect. I don't think we have to have our after-action plan. Guess what you just missed? You just missed the opportunity to ask for referral. You just missed the opportunity to get feedback for your staff on what they did well. You just missed the opportunity to impress your boss by bringing home a soundbite. You've missed a lot of opportunities because, oh, there's nothing to talk about, right? You could probably set the after-action agenda for all after-action events meetings and add it to the checklist that you schedule your after-action meeting with the client before the meeting even happens. And you give them that standard agenda before you even have the meeting. And that way they know when they're at that event, they say, yeah, I'm going to think about this. I'm going to think about that. I'm going to think about what we can do differently. I'm going to improve. But trust me, the level of professionalism that you're exuding by asking for an after-action meeting and giving them the agenda before you even have your own individual meeting with them, because the agenda can say things we did well, things we didn't do well, what can we improve upon next time, how can we limit the budget better, how can we eliminate risk, and will you refer us to somebody? And you give that to the client before you even meet. And I'm just making crap up. What?
I said, and what are your dates for next year?
And what are your dates for next year? Great. I'm just making stuff up, Trevor. I mean, I don't know. This is your deal. You're the one who brought it up, but the level of professionalism that you're showing to these people is dramatic. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree. That exactly why that section of this presentation was so important.
Great. Somebody else took something totally different, so bring it up. Molly, what was your big takeaway?
I just appreciated for big picture. One, when you're talking about growing from 3 to 5, and then later when we talk about hiring, is that the people are the product. Like, it just that one sentence was like, yes, that is what makes this company different from other people, from other companies. the thing that I'm reflecting on as I walk away is how to support employees that are moving from a generalist to a specialist role when every day you function multitasking, and it's like, no, now you're a specialist, let someone else do that. And the PIs may have been better for a generalist, and as they move to a specialist, how can we support our employees with maybe their personalities are this way, but helping them hone in to focus.
I love how corporate services focused you are with that statement. It's like just even understanding, like, how do we support these people? That's a corporate services mentality, right? But it's also a supervisor mentality. I mean, it's wonderful. Those are some great takeaways. Just again, the things I heard from you are understanding how to get from 3 to 5, how to that generalist to specialist role affects, and the big soundbite is understanding that people are a product.
Yeah.
Training is product development.
Mm-hmm.
So let's make it as affordable and as accessible as possible to them. Because all we're doing is putting a better product in our box. It's great. James, what do you got?
I like the fact that training puts everybody on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
For me, coming in as a new person and into a whole new role completely, I know exactly where I need to go, what I need to brush up on, and what I need to relearn or unlearn, and not be afraid to ask questions.
The philosophy. That I pride myself on hiring people smarter than me. That I don't need to be the smartest guy in the room, and you know that I don't want the kiss-ass guy. I want the guy who's going to come in and say, let's do this different. And that's good. That's a great foundational piece. I mean, you now know the management philosophy of the company because we actually taught it to you in an hour. Okay? Ryan, what you got? Courtney, Corey, somebody else.
Todd, I liked how you touched on getting it done. It doesn't necessarily have to be perfect. Better now, or good now is better than perfect later. I like that.
Okay.
Did you hear me?
Yep. It's great.
I think just to add on to that, like something is, it shows the rest of your team like you're working on it, especially when we're all in these different areas. If you don't hear something for a week because, someone's making it perfect, you might think they're not even working on it. They're somewhere else. And so just to keep that, this is what I got. Okay, now we're improving, helps everyone kind of stay on the line.
Sure. It's okay to publish something and say, hey, this is version 2, and these are my notes for version 3, and it's, it's okay to say that.
I liked a lot of just how you talked about personal development and the room for growth. I mean, for me, that's been a big step of working my way up through the ladder and just now figuring out where I actually can specialize and figuring out where that next move is for me and my team.
Great. Okay. I'm going to show you guys something else. I'm going to move on here, and I'm literally going to end this thing in the next 30 seconds, so if you have something, speak up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this one. Okay, first of all, this presentation I just gave you is right here under Manager Documents. I'll move this into the Supervisor Training Documents as well. But if everyone has the ability to go into Supervisor Documents and this Values and Visions folder right here, okay, whether you're syncing it or not, I don't care. You still have access to it because you just right-click on your icon and say, open on the Dropbox website, or you just go to dropbox.com and use supervisors and log in. And you have, if you don't have that password, I don't know what it is, but email it@lonestarsecure.com and ask them and you can have it. Okay. Everything that I quoted today, good to great, dick a day, every single piece of information quoted today is in this folder, whether it's Richard Branson's 5 things, transformational leadership, passion first, strategic planning, everything that was quoted today. Dick Gaday's cardinal rules of business right here. Dick Gaday is called the turnaround king of the Wall Street. Okay, he takes struggling companies and moves them around and makes them profitable in the $200 to $3 billion range, and he's done 27 of them in his career. So he's definitely a guy to listen to. Listen, he told me his 27 or 20, I think there's 27 now, rules of business, because he whipped out a sheet of paper that was tatted and torn, and he had been writing on this thing for 50 years. Every time something major happened and he learned something from it, he whipped out this piece of paper and put a new line on it. I mean, come on. This was not, I had to type this, okay? It was a royal pain in the butt trying to read his chicken scratches, because he'd always go, well, I have a rule for you on that. And he'd go, Rule 27, this is it. You know, it's kind of like NCIS. And I'd go, I want to hear the rest of the rules. And it took me 2 years to get him to show me the rest of the sheet, right? But this is the rest of the sheet. They're all in here. And this guy, you can learn a lot from. It's pretty interesting. So all of this information is in here. You can literally just go through here and just pick something out and realize that that's where we're going, or see the foundations of that piece in our company. You feel free to add things to this, okay, as you learn about leadership or about management or about strategy. Add things to this, and let's keep it going. But use this. You know, you can literally go in here and pick almost anything at all out of this and start running on it with, here's 3C communication, okay? This is like, I could teach a 3-hour class on this. And there's an incredible resource for you to start and to learn from right there. And I just randomly picked one. So that resource is available to you. Use it, please. And let's keep going, okay? Everything else from the rest of today's meeting, I'm going to tag on to November 14th schedule, and we'll keep going. Any closing statements or questions? All right. Thanks for your time today. I appreciate it.